Welcome back to the Basically Nomads bus. If you don't actually follow us already, we are Devin
and Brianna,
and we are Basically Nomads, and we basically just kind of cover tiny living, some of the projects that we've done, and just our whole bus build in general. So for today's video, we're actually going to be covering a question and answer session that we got mostly from Instagram.
Yeah, and so if you don't follow us on Instagram, go follow us now at Basically Nomads. We also have a Facebook, and you can learn more about us there.
Well, we're just really gonna hop right into it. But before we do, there were quite a bit of questions, so we decided to break it into two separate videos. The first video is going to be basically just about the build, all aspects of the build, and the other video is going to be more the personal side. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and kick it right off talking about the bus build and all the questions that you guys had. Brianna, go ahead and read the first question for us.
The first question that we got says, do you have any tips to help overcome the giant change from comfy home living to living on the road? And I think the biggest thing that tiny home dwellers could give someone who lives in a big home wanting to downsize is that it takes time and it's like a gradual thing, and not to do it all at once because it can be very overwhelming. For me and Devin, I think it was super easy for us because we don't find like our comfort in items or things. Like, we do really well at like getting rid of stuff. Like, what's the word I'm looking for?
We're not very sentimental about
not
objects.
sentimental.
Yeah.
I don't have a deep connection with my items that I have, so it's not hard for me to get rid of things. And we just had like a garage sale and sold a lot on like Facebook, garage sale sites and things like that. We just got rid of a bunch of stuff and slowly started downsizing.
So basically the tip would be to do it gradually, right? So
Yeah.
if you're going from like a massive house, don't expect to just move into a school bus the next day.
Yeah.
You could even just kind of bar off a couple areas of your house, maybe just live in like 2 bedrooms and see what that would be like, and see all the things that you would need to get rid of to actually be able to live tiny.
Also for us, I think it was easier too because we didn't live in a big home. When we got married, we lived in a 450-foot square duplex, and so we already didn't have much space at all, and so it really caused us to live very minimal anyway. So going from
that is true, but at the same time we had stuff before that. We got rid of stuff before we even got married.
We had a 1-car garage with that duplex that had a ton of boxes in it with just stuff that we never got into, never used, and so all of that stuff that we just accumulated, in our own lives, and then once we got married, just sat in boxes. And then we were like, okay, well, we're gonna be moving into a tiny home. We don't need this stuff. We haven't touched it in months. It couldn't fit into our duplex, so it's definitely not gonna fit into the bus. And it wasn't really sentimental things anyway. It was just stuff. And so
this could be its own video.
Home decor and like just a bunch of things that you collect, crafting items and stuff that we never touched. And so it was just easy to get rid of.
Did you know how you wanted everything to be, or did you make it up along the way? We made it up along the way, didn't we?
Yep.
Pretty much every step of it. We knew where we wanted the bed. I think that's the only thing that we knew for sure when we first walked into the bus. Hi, Archie. So yeah, we just made it up as we went, and actually, like, I'm talking about during the building process, not just whenever we were trying to map everything out. We had like a really rough idea.
Yeah.
But even all the way back to the bedroom, I built the bedroom, and then we built a spot for the washer and the dryer and the bunk beds, and we just...
I wouldn't recommend that though.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do the bus build, they tape off everything and they get a whole blueprint, layout, measurements, and I can see how going that route could make your build so much easier and possibly even faster because you've already just thought it way out and you planned ahead of time. It makes it really easy for you as the builder to go in and just like knock things out because you don't have to think about things. Like, I feel like you're gonna get work done quicker because we would come in here and just like stand around and like piddle our thumbs and like, okay, is this what we want to do? And it's like some of it was just like wasted time, when you could just get in there and just knock out the build because you didn't plan ahead of time. So I wouldn't recommend what we did, but we just planned it out along the way and it worked out in the end. But there are a lot of things I think we would have changed if we were more like planned oriented, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, so we did plan ahead a little bit. Obviously, we knew like the main part about if you're doing your planning is you just have to have your key things that you're not going to want to be without, right? So obviously we know we're going to need a bed, we're going to need a shower, a kitchen.
Our third question about the bus build would be, how do you two find your personal space within the bus?
I wanted to say really quick, I included this one. I know it is kind of a personal question, but it also has a lot to do with how you build your bus. So take it away.
Sure. I would say we do a great job at finding our own personal space within the bus. I mean, it's a tiny home, yes, but it's 39 feet long, and so half of the bus could be his space, half of the bus could be totally my space. Like, you could build your bus with your own separate areas. We created a lot of doors throughout our bus that kind of just close off each space if we wanted some privacy. But when it comes to our personal space, Devin's at his computer a lot with his headphones on, and then I can head to the back of the bus and hang out in the bedroom, watch movies back there, or be on the laptop doing work, or whatever it might be. And so I feel like we don't bug each other, especially when we have the headphones on, and it just makes it easy for a separate space.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I'm not even gonna add to it because it's spot on.
Yeah.
All right. The next question is from That Girl Molly over on Instagram. It's kind of a long question, so bear with me. She says, "Hi, I'm planning to build a Skoolie soon, and one thing I'm not willing to sacrifice is a kitchen. I'd love to know what the cooking process in your Skoolie is. Can you both be in the kitchen prepping at the same time? Is it a tight kitchen area with both of you in it, or just one person trying to pass the other? Besides wishing for extra counter space, which we covered in another video, do you think you could have laid the kitchen out better? Do y'all often cook with more people besides yourself? Is it easy with the space that you have? Thank you in advance for looking at the questions and possibly answering them. I enjoy your content and cannot wait for more." So,
thank you.
Yeah, those are great questions. That Girl Molly, thank you so much. And I'm actually going to let you answer the kitchen questions too, because it's kind of more your space.
Yeah, I will say, towards the beginning of our bus build, I wanted an L-shaped kitchen, because if you haven't seen the Maze Team bus, they have an L-shaped kitchen, and I really loved their bus, and I just was like, oh, this is what I want. But it also was a very small kitchen. Like, their kitchen is smaller than ours. I would say we do fine cooking together in this space. The way it's laid out is perfect, where I can be on one side and he can be on the other side. So like our backs are to each other while we're prepping food, and then we just kind of like turn to one another. And pat, like if one's at the oven, he's over at the sink chopping things, and then he'll just like pass it to me, and I'll, put it in the oven or put it in the skillet or whatever we're doing in that time. Throw it in the Instapot. So I feel like our kitchen space works out great. I don't find us,
bumping into each other
and getting annoyed.
The hallway is the only spot where that's a problem, because we have all the doors now and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of the bus, the couches are kind of like that too. But no, it never really feels like that. It never really feels like super tight.
Yeah, our desk space and the kitchen space is probably the widest areas of our bus build, and so we don't have an issue with it. I actually enjoy cooking together in there.
Yeah, and no, we usually don't cook for too many people. It's generally just me and her in the bus.
I would say 2 max to our kitchen. If anyone else is trying to come in and join the party, it ain't gonna work. Up next we have, did you remove all original ceiling, walls, and floor, then insulate and finish them? What kinds of insulation? Did you keep some original windows or change out for RV ones? Are you happy with your window and insulation choices? These questions are from someone who's starting their bus build hopefully soon.
So those are a lot of technical questions, a lot of questions baked in there. Yes, we absolutely removed all the walls, we removed all the ceiling, all the stuff off the floor. We just wanted to get it down to basically square one, where it could be our own thing. To the metal frame on everything. Yes, we actually use spray foam insulation for everything that's in the ceiling and in the walls where we need a really deep insulation. And then we also use the pink closed cell insulation kind of down into the walls where it was hard to get to, because that option was also a little bit cheaper if we could mix it around and use both instead of just using spray foam. But if you're building right now, I would definitely recommend spray foam, and I would absolutely recommend tearing out that original, oh no, don't whine buddy. I would absolutely recommend tearing out the old insulation if you were going to be living anywhere that's really hot or really cold. If you're not, don't worry about it. We've talked about it a little bit in some other videos, but yes, your insulation is going to be huge. And if you have a taller bus, add some to the floor, add some insulation into the floor as much as you can without sacrificing too much height. Just going to make a huge difference.
We insulated the floor as well, though.
Yeah,
I don't think
we
you pushed on the floor.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just saying though. The more that you can put in the floor, the better, because that's where you're going to lose a ton of your.
And we use the pink.
Yeah, the pink.
Well, it's actually purple. The purple, what is it, 4-inch, 3-inch?
No, it was 2-inch.
Okay, so we use the purple 2-inch foam boards for the flooring and for the outer walls, and then we sprayed the ceiling, and then we sprayed little areas that the foam board didn't get. So we used foam board and spray.
Yep. Just put in as much insulation as you can. That would be my advice. If you're building right now and you're going to be somewhere that's hot or cold, your insulation is going to make a huge difference. And one more thing, yes, we did keep all the original windows, although we did not leave them all uncovered. We actually insulated a bunch of them and
blocked them off.
Yeah, exactly.
There's walls up on a lot of them.
Yeah, that's where you're going to lose a ton of your energy is through the windows. So we kind of just covered up as many as we could, but we liked the look of the original bus windows.
Yes, I did like the way the outside looked with the original bus windows, but I think looking back now, I would have replaced them all.
I think so too.
And like, it's probably worth the money to replace them all and to, put up sheet metal and put in your own window install. I think it's just better.
I think, especially again going back to insulation wise,
yes.
Tempered windows would have been a lot better than.
So if you're gonna be in cold climates, for sure, I would go
or hot.
The other route, what we did not do, but I like the way our bus looks on the outside with all of the windows.
Okay, this should be a quick, easy question to answer, and we actually get this question a lot, surprisingly.
Yes.
And that is from Emily. Where did you get that cute little hanging cat bed?
First, it is actually not a cat bed.
It's not.
It is a hanging bookshelf, or like a catch-all kind of hanging shelf. It's from IKEA, so wherever you're located, I don't know if you have an IKEA where you live, but our closest one is Chicago, like the Naperville area, and then there's one in St. Louis, Missouri. So those two are the ones that we have been to, and we love IKEA, but that is where it's from.
Yep, that's where it's from, and we just happened to randomly see it. It was on a shelf hanging. I was like, that would be a perfect cat hammock.
Yeah.
We just grabbed it.
We grabbed it, and Till has loved it ever since. So
yeah, it's awesome. So
we haven't used it as a bookshelf. It's only been a cat hammock.
Yep. So hopefully, if you're looking for that, go to IKEA.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a technical question from our good friend Sydney Sims. She actually asked quite a few questions, so thanks for hitting us up with that. The question is, what is gas like when you're traveling? So we haven't really done a lot of traveling yet, but a little bit of traveling we have done. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. It's like 8 miles to the gallon. We actually use diesel. Yeah, it's a diesel bus. But just for reference, we're about in the middle of Illinois, and we priced it out. And I don't know what the prices were at the time. I think it was about $3 a gallon for diesel. And it was like $1,200 to go to California, LA, and back when we did the calculation. So
$1,200?
Yeah, it was $600 each way.
Oh,
so,
well, see, that's even kind of better than what I thought it was.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was like $1,200. So still, it's quite a chunk of change.
I think it was like, what does it cost? Like $300 and something, $350 to fill it up.
I think it's like $300, yeah, depending on the prices again.
Yeah, that's true. So
at least right now. So there you go, another quick one.
So the next question is, how did you decide how many solar panels to use or install, and what company are they from? So I'll let Devin take this one.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the first part, how many panels? The how many really isn't that important. The wattage, the amount of power that you're wanting, is the real focus there. So if I can get the same power from one panel, then that's amazing. I'm going to get that one panel. But unfortunately, if you're talking about powering any kind of home, you're most likely going to need more than one panel.
Yeah.
Then the second part of it was the company that I chose. Well, I very specifically picked the company that I went for. I'm not really going to cover them here because I didn't have a great experience with customer service after that, but I picked them specifically because they were built and manufactured right here in the USA, and I just think that's a really important thing. That's just our take on things, so we try to buy American when we can. So that's why we picked that. So I will circle around real quick just to kind of fill this in about the how many solar panels you need. We went with 12-volt panels because that's what our bus is, so we can actually just go straight from the solar panels to our bus batteries if we wanted to, although we don't. But basically you're gonna have to do that calculation for yourself depending on what appliances you're gonna be powering, and then you're just gonna have to calculate the wattage and then buy the panels that add up to the amount of watts that you need. So there you go. I got a little more technical than I wanted to, but we're just gonna hold it right there because this really,
nothing about.
Yeah, this really isn't a great video to get into all the details about that. That will be later on. So we're gonna get to our 10th and final question.
Final question.
And that question is, how often do you have to fill your water tank, and how do you find places to fill it?
Very good question. Yeah, so we are at a campground right now with full hookup, and so we are constantly hooked up to water, so we don't really have to worry about filling our tank and seeing how long it's gonna last. But before we came here, we filled our tank up, I would say, faithfully every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a 100-gallon water tank. So I would say every 2 weeks. We could easily boondock for 2 weeks, I think.
Oh yeah.
Having that experience.
Longer if we had to.
We weren't hooked up full time then, but the experience of filling up our water was not fun.
No.
I know there's places that you can go to fill up your water that make it super easy, but we were just stationed and we were building out the bus still while living, and so we were running a 300-foot
400 foot.
400
feet of hose.
Water hose,
yeah,
from our landlord's house to get clean fresh water, and then running it to the bus to fill up our tank. And so that was a big chore, which we dreaded doing, and we did it every 2 weeks, and we were on their property for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So for a year and a half, that's what we did. It was a big chore. And so now the luxury of being hooked up to water full time is amazing, and we are still like cautious of how much we're using, just because that's how we were running our lives for a year and a half.
Right.
But at the same time, we do take longer showers now. We don't have to worry about filling up. So
yeah, that's nice.
Every 2 weeks.
So every 2 weeks for sure. But basically you also asked, like, where could we fill up?
Oh.
Anywhere, really. Anywhere that has a spigot. We have a bunch of filters on our system, so we're not really worried about that. We have a water pump so it can run itself off the solar panels.
Yeah.
So just anywhere you find a spigot. If you like staying at a campground, if you're boondocking for 2 weeks, then we could stay at a campground for one night and just refill everything, and then we'd be good for another 2 weeks. Or just find a spigot.
I mean, we haven't really taken our bus anywhere to specifically fill up, so we're gonna be like new to that experience hopefully soon as well.
So our opinion might change on that.
Yeah.
You might find out it's actually really hard, but I don't think it should be.
But if you're somewhere with a full hookup, you don't have to worry about it. And
yeah. Alright guys, well that concludes the really technical side of the bus build questions that you guys had for us. Hopefully they were insightful in some kind of way. Hopefully you learned something from them.
Yes.
And really look forward to the personal side of the question and answer session.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we'll probably just have that coming out next week. So look forward to that, guys. Well, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Like this video if you liked it, and comment down below what you thought of the video.
For sure.
And always, give me some more ideas, guys. Let me know what you want to see, because we just love to hear from you guys. So, until next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.